Hi everyone, this is my first meeting which I'm presenting. My name is Roberto Querio and I'm from team. So we are involved in the Katalis project. I prepared just a very few slides. It's the first time. I don't want to take too much time, but just to give you an idea on what we are doing, what we have in mind, and share this with you so that we can create links with all the other things that are going on inside the Union efforts. So I don't have the good template that you presented before about neural networks. I will update it next time. I just took the logs and put in a blank presentation. So what's our story so far and what we are doing? So and I say talking about telco operators, but this is only the only time that I want to mention this, because when we talk about cloud, we talk about cloud in general. It's not about the telco cloud or cloud in general. We want to do something that is valuable for cloud in general. So we were involved with Federation since a few times. We were working on it inside a group that is called GSMA OPG, designing a way to federate different clouds through interdomains interfaces. We were working on it. We did experimentation, pilots projects, and at the end of the day, we understood that it was very important for interoperability of different clouds and to really create a federation to implement a reference open source implementation of what we call a federation manager. We were already thinking about it. Then the opportunity of NeoNefos came up. I have to thank also Christian that introduced us to the project and suggested it, and we thought this was a very good place to bring our contributions about Cloud Federation, since the project is targeting a full cloud reference architecture, and so we thought this would be the best place to bring inside this Katalis project our contribution. So we want to design a solution that is adaptable to any federation model, interoperable between any type of cloud, of course, in an open, inclusive, and collaborative way. Really high level. So our first idea while we were starting this was to create a full implementation that included let's say an orchestrator and an orchestrator being able to federate itself with other orchestrators. Don't want to go too much in the technical details here, but at the end of the day, we understood that in different domains there are very different solutions about what the companies are doing inside their own domains with respect to orchestration. So we thought, let's put it in common in a reference implementation, only the key element for the interoperability. So the element that will allow a general orchestrator to talk with another domain, and we call this a federation manager, which can be adapted to many different orchestrators implemented in them, and let it talk with another domain in the same language. What is this language that we are referring? So as I said before, we are starting working with something that we already had, that was an east-west bound interface that was REST-based, and that came from the specification of GSMA OPG. We understood that in the meantime, technology evolved, and we wanted to ensure a more modern and robust architecture. So what we are doing here is to take what we had and you can see that in the phase one, implementing a Kubernetes operator that can talk with orchestrators in a Kubernetes native way, and then adapt it to the current implementation of an API REST interface. But we want to be future-proof while keeping interoperability with what already exists. So we have a path of evolution from the current implementation of phase one to another implementation that is able always in Kubernetes way, but to speak in the, let's say, old language with the new full Kubernetes one, and then progressively totally adopting the full Kubernetes adaptation. What do we have? We already have first contributions for the first model, which is soon we will have a working implementation, and in parallel we are producing contribution with respect to what we call here the phase two. I don't know if it was clear. I didn't want to take too much time in the call. Of course, we are available for any details. We would really be interested in understanding how this thing that we are building here can be valuable for the rest of the Neonefos project, and also please, Christian and Sergey, if you have something to add. I try to do a brief overview, but please, if I forgot something, help me here.
Thanks, Roberto, for this first overview. Sergio, do you have the more detailed ones?
Yeah, I have some, let's say, deeper technical on the operator part, if you want, if that's okay, I can share.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay. I cannot share if you're sharing, Roberto. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Just Sergey, before going with the technical part, does anyone have any question about generally the architecture, the approach that we are taking, any inputs from any other Neonefos participants? Then if questions come up, we are always available. So Sergey,
Sure.
please,
And
let's go.
I also have some slides on the architecture, so if any question can go back to Roberto, it's fine from my side, no problem. So I will share if I can. So just to, yeah, okay. So just to, oops. Can you see my screen all perfect?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, thanks. When we started working on this OPC Federation that Roberto was talking about, when we integrated these APIs in our orchestrator, by the way in which our orchestrator is built, which is Kubernetes based and let's say very much oriented to use custom resources, and it let's say works very well with Kubernetes operators. Our idea, and this was something that we started doing with Telefonica because we are very closely working on this part of the east-west-bound interface, and we showcased it in the Mobile World Congress, actually, in last Mobile World Congress, a demo using these APIs. We thought that this mechanism of federation could have been a good idea to put it as a bundle and a plugin for our orchestrator and publish it as an open source in an open source organization or like Neonefos in order to telcos to be able to accelerate their adoption for this and to be able to plug it in their orchestrators faster, let's say, than an in-house development. So the road to be able to provide this federation between telcos is, let's say, faster or easier, and try to focus on galvanize the solution rather than starting from scratch. This is something that in our company we have worked for quite some time already. We had different implementations, but in the end we ended up doing a Kubernetes operator. So the Kubernetes operator, I will point here. It also comes, as Roberto said, with an API, which makes the whole communication. And this is the Federation Manager box here. In our case, this Federation Manager is integrated with our orchestrator with our own components. And this is not part of what we are providing as open source implementation for the Kubernetes operator. But what we are providing in this implementation is the actual logic of sending information from different Kubernetes through the east-west bound API of OPG. Let me clarify this point with another slide. This slide has been going around in GSMA forums for quite a while now, so some people has already seen it. But the idea that we are trying to accomplish here is to create custom resources through our orchestrator into an operator, and this operator reacts to these custom resources and sends requests to an API, which in turn, this is in the other side of the equation, let's say, in turn turns this request in custom resources that stay in the other operator cluster. So the controllers are, let's say, mirroring all the requests, all the CRs that are creating in Kubernetes via HTTP request and Federation API. And we did it like this because at first this was not an open source project. It was not sure how other implementations there will be, on how we wanted to integrate with other operators. So we wanted to maintain the interface of the API because we didn't know what other orchestrators might want to do. And as Roberto explained, this is different phases of the same project. There are telcos that are more interested in keeping the API, other operators that want to go straight ahead and use Kubernetes controllers to manage this. In our case, we have developed this contribution with the Federation API in the middle, and all the controllers work to use the Federation API. What we are contributing, and it's going to be public by the end of the week, is a subset of the east-west bound interface, which allows the creation of all the Federation artifact file application instances that are needed for to send all the data. And this application instance will pop as an application instance as well, a CR application instance in the other end. And then, as I said before, the orchestrator needs to be able to react to this application instance and create the actual application. So we are providing a Kubernetes operator that models all the data that the OPG interface requires, but there is not a final actuation on the deployment in, let's say, in the edge or in the cluster. This is something that we have made in-house, but every operator needs to do. However, of course, the different elements of this contribution allow for this modification and to be able to create more controllers, to be able to modify the endpoints of the Federation API. And what the idea, I think, is to move forward with a common ground. And I myself, I'm trying to lead the task of standardizing these Federation CRDs or approach, let's say, based on Kubernetes operators, to try to put it in the OPG standards of GSMA and try to bring forward this cloud native approach to orchestration inside telcos. That's it for me. I don't know if I was clear. If you have more questions,
Sergey, can I ask a question? Not to this is maybe not the right point, but I see that your controllers are doing callbacks and requests through a specific Federation API. That is an imperative API, and that's not the declarative Kubernetes API. So the end consumer API, but the internal workings, you still need the imperative. That's the speciality of the OPG. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes, exactly. So we try to make, let's say, the declarative approach, and we try to distillate, I don't know how to say it, to get the declarative approach from the imperative API that the GSMA has provided in order to maintain operability with other different implementations that might not have to be an operator. But yeah, the Federation API is the GSMA imperative interface.
Yeah, Vasu, that's exactly the point that you want to address here, in the sense that the architectures like this for interoperability with already exists, but we want to proceed with a path for having a full Kubernetes-based approach, even within different domains, which is the challenge here.
Yeah, totally get
we
it.
already have an implementation. We want to keep what's good on those REST API, in the sense that the meaning, like what are the parameters, what are we exchanging in terms of how do we federate, what is the service that we're federating. This we can keep, but we need to, let's say, modernize everything in terms of technology.
It's the phase one that you basically depicted, no? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
This is exciting. Yeah, good.
Great to hear that feedback. Thank you. Okay. So if no more questions, I will stop presenting.
So maybe just one more comment. Yeah, source code will be also available in the GitHub. I think we are maybe a bit slower than all the other projects, but things are coming up. Yeah. Also, John, you let's say wanted to know all the formalities. Yeah. When you go to the GitHub repos and account of Nephos Katalis, then you might not find everything already in place, but I promise we are working on that day by day, and yeah, complete it in the next days and weeks, and then you find everything what you need, and hopefully you find a time with your teams also to try things out. And this is a bit, let's say, from our telco perspective, but as Roberto said, yeah, we would like to bridge and also maybe serve as a kind of blueprint, because not everyone is already on this, let's say, modern stack approach. Yeah, and therefore maybe we can also contribute here and have provide a benefit. Thanks for having us today.
Yeah. Just adding on, I want to highlight what Christian said. So yes, we are bringing our experience as telco, but we want to target something that use cloud neutral, let's say, and this is consensus. There is a consensus of this in the community. At least from my understanding, that we want to do something very cloud generic. This must be an objective.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation.